I'm out here at the church garden. Things are starting to pop. Many of you know this. I love this garden. I love to garden. I know not all of you do. I know it can be really frustrating for some of you to just labor in the ground and you feel like everything you plant dies. And I get that. We've had sunflowers just completely destroyed in this garden for who knows what reason. And I've watched cucumbers year after year after year just wither. But there's that opportunity to produce life, to actually plant something in the ground and care for it in a way that it becomes alive and it produces its own fruit that I just find completely fascinating and wonderful. And I think that there's something about the human spirit that is so drawn to that idea of life, of bringing things to their fullest potential. When we look out in the world and we see addiction robbing people of their purpose, we know that's not right. When we see broken families rob children of joy and opportunity, we know that that's not right. We know that we were created to thrive. We were created to flourish. We were created to do things, to have purpose and be alive. And the garden makes me think about the very first Psalm, Psalm 1, where the writer paints this picture of those who think about the law of the Lord are like great trees planted by a river, that they have everything they need to be fully alive. And there's this thing about that word, law. We find it in the Old Testament. It's always translated law, but when I think about law, I think of like traffic school or traffic laws, or when I got my driver's license and I had to study the little book and I had to go and I had to take the test, and it was just dry, and there's no prospering in the driver's manual. There was no life produced in my soul by going through that process. I just wanted to make sure that I wouldn't get a ticket, that I could drive and operate a vehicle safely. And so law, and I'm not sure that law really captures the image of the psalm writer was going for. The word there, Torah, the Hebrew word, means more like teaching or instruction, and not so much law. And the idea that if you could be taught by God, if you could saturate yourself in God's teaching, that somehow that would take you and produce life inside your soul. That's a beautiful idea. It reminds me of there are wonderful teachers in this world. One of my favorite teachers was in high school, Mrs. Mullet. She was a writing teacher, and her way of talking about writing, her way of teaching writing, made me feel alive when I practiced writing, when I worked on my writing, when I could put an idea down on a page in a unique way. There was something about her mentorship and her care, like a gardener producing a space for which I could thrive and I could grow and I could flourish and I could become what I was supposed to become, what I could become. And I think deeply woven into us is a desire to have that kind of teacher, a desire to have some kind of life source that can take people who are broken and can make them alive, can take people who are on the edge of death and bring them back, who can take those kids who've had the joy stolen from them and give it back to them. And that's why this church is here. That's why I'm a pastor. That's why I am captivated by Jesus Christ, because he says that. He says his desire is to give us life and life to the fullest. And when I look at his teaching, I see a path toward vibrant, thriving, flourishing life like a tree planted by a river. That's where we're going next, River Street. That's the next sermon series at River Street. So we're going to dive into God's impenetrable, indomitable heart to see us be alive. God's gardening heart to see us produce fruit and to thrive and prosper as if we were all planted in a wonderful garden where the gardener is taking care of us and teaching us how to grow.